Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Friday night edition of the Around the Ropes radio show. Now, guys, we've been talking a lot about Flex Wrestling. We've had on, Matic, we've had on Price Pure Gold, Sean Carr, the whole 9 yards, HC Loke. But our next guest, as we continue to look forward into this Flex Wrestling, is actually somebody I've been wanting on the show for the last 3 years. You've seen him at Immortal Championship Wrestling. You've seen him as the leader of Edge of Hope. But welcome to the show now for the first time, Cerian Rahne. Cerian, welcome to the show. How you been, my friend?
I'm good, John. Thank you for having me. We've been trying to do this for a hot minute, so I'm excited to be here.
I'm happy as well. And believe me, we have a lot of stuff I want to get to, especially, the Immortal stuff and all that stuff. But before we get into Immortal, before we get into Flex and the other stuff we were talking about before we went live, I'm going to start off with this one. Who is Cerian Rahne for people who are watching this who may not know?
So Cerian Rahne is it's essentially me turned up to 11. We've heard wrestlers say that all the time. The whole hope dealer gimmick, it stems from my real life, mental health and addiction. I always said if I ever got anywhere in wrestling, I wanted to use my platform, whatever it is, whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, to spread the message of mental health advocacy and addiction advocacy. And the hope dealer moniker actually came because I would always post my pictures with a bunch of hashtags to do the whole social media thing. Yeah. And I would always use be a hope dealer, all that on there. And somebody threw it on a match announcement with me on it, and they said the hope dealer. I'm like, I like that. I'm keeping it. It's mine.
Now, do you have any what was the first match that you remember seeing that made you want to become a wrestler?
Oh God, there's so many. So growing up, and my biological father hasn't always been the greatest in my life, but the one thing that we did love together and we watched together was professional wrestling. So I'm talking, old school Hogan. I was introduced. I was born in '88. I'm old. See the grays in the hair and the beard. I'm old. I remember watching, Macho Man, Rowdy Piper, all of them. But I wouldn't say one particular match. I think wrestling as a whole brought me in, just was an escape from reality.
Now, obviously, you mentioned about, what you do on the outside, your quote unquote, your shoot job outside, outside of. Now, do you feel like pro wrestling, because obviously I've seen your story before, and I don't know how much you want to go in to your story here now. Do you feel like pro wrestling sort of helped save you a little bit?
Absolutely, man. So it's no secret. I don't hide it. If you follow me on social media, you follow your friends in my real life, you meet me at a show. I'm in recovery. I was an addict for a number of years, and I found sobriety and became clean from drugs from about 11 or 12 years ago now. But it wasn't until 5 years ago when I found wrestling that I truly was able to deal with my mental health and deal with depression and anxiety and suicidal ideations. Like all of that still struggled with me. And then I found wrestling as an outlet, as a way to be creative, as a way to get all those things out. And so I would say wrestling absolutely saved my life. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for wrestling.
Now, obviously, as I mentioned to you before, we did an episode a couple weeks ago, actually. And guys, again, go back if you missed any past Around the Ropes, go back and check them out. We did a whole episode, myself and my then co-host Jeff did an episode on mental health.
Yeah,
because it was I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was the anniversary of Benoit and what happened with him, and we dedicated the entire episode to it. And we were talking about how back in the day, if you got injured, and this way a lot of wrestlers kind of don't live that long of a life because the mental health toll that they take from being on the road consistently. How have you been able to kind of handle the being on the road and kind of balancing out everything?
So it is stressful. I work a shoot job, as you said. My real job, I'm a counselor in a inpatient facility for people struggling with addiction. So that itself is hard. And then putting on top of that, the weekends where people get that moment to rest and, spend time with family. I'm on the road driving 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to go have 10 minutes in the ring. So I take these moments like this weekend. I actually have no booking. I'm taking that moment to decompress and do things for me, go see my family. Time management's huge in this kind of situation where it's like, take those moments when you can get them.
No, and believe me, I see it now. Obviously, I know it's a different realm, but I see now with me doing this show, and people have always said to me, they're like, "Oh, you're dedicating too much time." And I'm like, you know what? There has to come a point where you have to start balancing out, what's more important to you. And I'm not saying, wrestling isn't important. I'm not saying that, but, you only get one life.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling's always going to be there. That's the one thing I was told from a lot of people is wrestling's always going to be there. We only have one opportunity at life.
And don't get me wrong, man. I've made sacrifices for wrestling. I've lost relationships. I have nights where I don't get home until 4 a.m. and have to be up at 6 to go to work. There's sacrifices you do make, but you have to find that ability. Like when I have a weekend off, I'm going to go get some food. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go see family. It's using those moments that you can, whenever you can.
I totally get that. And we'll get back into the mental health stuff in a second because I want to get, into before we get into Flex, I want to get into, you with Immortal. Because that's where I really got to know of Cerian Rahne was through Immortal. I told you the first time I saw you in the ring was before the Edge of Hope stuff that you're doing now. And you were still rocking the jean jacket with the bandana. And I still remember the first match I saw you face. You were in. You were with Anthony Gangone.
Oh, absolutely. I love Anthony. Amazing human being, beautiful human being. Love Anthony so much.
He definitely is. Let me ask you this now. How did you find out about Immortal? And how did that whole connection get started?
So obviously Matic, I've trained with Matic. My trainer is HC Loke, but when it was winter, because how I started with Loke was in a ring in his backyard or in his little barn thing he has. So in the winter, it's really hard to train in the cold. So we would go up to UPW and train with Matic and all of them. And, forming that relationship with Matic and forming with the relationship with the guys who are already really ingrained in this area's wrestling, we would see them going to these places. So we would jump in the cars, or we ourselves would just drive up to go put up the ring and help out and just get our foot in that door. And that's kind of what it was. It was, I believe I saw a match posting from Matic. I called a couple of the guys that we go up with all the time, and we just went up.
Now, obviously, you started off as a singles. You were doing more single stuff in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When did you finally realize that, okay, maybe single stuff isn't the way I need to go, and try to go more into what we're seeing you now and with Edge of Hope?
So I'll be honest, I never saw myself as a tag team guy when I first started. I was like, oh, I want to do singles. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then the formation of Edge of Hope happened gradually through ESW and Excite. So Excite put me and Matic together, and ESW put me and Richter together, and then we kind of all gradually flowed in together. And then Darren Crow came in, and Foxy came in, which we've grown into a huge family. The last 3-4 years with Edge of Hope, I could not imagine my career without them. They are a rock, and they push. We push each other. So going from singles to, I like doing both. They both have their assets. But when I started doing the tag team stuff, I learned so much more about wrestling, about psychology, about, what to do in that ring to entertain people.
And believe me, I see that. A couple of times I've gotten to see Edge of Hope, and I said this to Matt when we had him on last night, when there was about maybe a 3-month time span when the tag team division of Immortal was probably some of the best I've ever seen. And I mentioned it, you had the Sons of Allah, you had Power Supply, there was you guys, there was CXR, there was Team Friendship. I mean, I asked this to Matt. I want to ask you this as well. What do you think made that division so competitive for that short amount of time? Where I'll say right now, I think you guys put on Match of the Night quite often.
I think it was because, you had a bunch of people who were hungry, and they're still hungry. The tag team division is continuing to grow in Immortal every show, every month, it's just continually to grow. So when you have people who are so hungry to do this and are passionate, we feed off each other. So if you're going into this excited and wanting to have the greatest match of the night, we're going to feel it. It's almost contagious, right? So we just loved what we were doing, and we fed off of that. And Edge of Hope and CXR, I swear, are destined to do this rivalry for the rest of our career. We've probably a good 150 times we've wrestled them. I'm exaggerating, but
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It seems like that. But that's because when we're in the ring with them, the chemistry is there. We have similar styles, and our styles mesh. It's easy to put on an amazing match with those guys.
Oh no, I definitely could see that. And like I said, the tag team, and I remember a lot of those tag team, I call them wars. I feel like, especially the cage match that you guys had in Rome.
Oh, one of my favorites.
When it was you guys, I think it was you guys, Team Friendship and Black and Yellow, I think.
No, so what it was it just me? It was me and Matic versus Team Friendship, Skyros, and Stone, Adam Stone and Mike Skyros. And am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
The fuckery of pro wrestling. Crow comes down, Black and Yellow comes down, everything go to hell, and it's still one of my favorite matches today. It was a fun match. First time I think I took a kendo stick to the head for the first time, and that sucked. I
remember the one part, like I said, being there ringside, literally being there ringside. I was right there when everything was happening. There was one, I don't remember which one of Edge of Hope it was, but one of the guys came down and actually tried to fit through the grates.
That was Darren Crow. That was Darren Crow, who tried crawling through the grates to get away from Mike Skyros, and Mike caught him.
Now, looking back at it now, obviously you mentioned before CXR, is one of your, what was it like being in the ring with, like, the Sons of Allah, Power Supply, because like I said before, when you guys, for that couple of months, and I agree with you now, the tag team division is still strong, but I feel like the tag team division isn't as strong as it was during these couple months. What was it like being in the ring with, Sons of Allah and all those other teams?
So being in the ring with all those different teams, it was a learning experience because you have so many different levels of experience to learn from. So we, again, that whole being hungry and pushing each other. We have some people who have been doing this for quite some time. Matic, I believe, is coming up on 12 years. I believe he's a wealth of knowledge. Blaze and Hameen are doing this forever. They're a wealth of knowledge. And then you have us newer guys who are looking up to them to, hey, teach me. I want to do this at your level, because somebody like Matic, who's been up and down and putting on arguably some of the best matches of his career recently, it's an honor to learn from him and be his tag team partner, because I'm learning, just by being with him.
And I know I'm speaking very highly of it, but I'm speaking the God's honest truth here. When you guys had those wars, especially like when it was you guys, Team Friendship and Black and Yellow, I've said it to quite a few people. I said it was the closest thing we got to the, if you remember back in the the late 90s, when you had the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. Yeah. I was like, it was probably the closest thing we got to seeing that type of, and I still say it to this day, the matches you guys had, I think people need to go back and just watch them, because the one thing I've always stressed on the show, and I've said this for the last 4 years, is storytelling. To me, storytelling is way more important than a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you guys, especially in those battles, I felt like you guys told a story and got the fans into it. And I always used to sit there back in my mind and go, okay, who the hell is going to top this one?
There were some amazing matches. You mentioned the storytelling versus good matches. I think if you're having a good story, the match itself is going to be great too. I think they go hand in hand. To have an amazing match, you need an amazing story. What are you trying to get through? What are you trying to tell? What's the arc of it? Because we're there to entertain. We are storytellers, and if we're not telling a story, we're just throwing things at the wall and hoping they stick.
No, I totally get that. But like I said, those tag team, I still try to go back and see if I can get them on YouTube. Because I was actually I told this to Matic. I still remember at the Nexus Center when Immortal made their debut, and there was the fatal, I think it was a fatal 4-way or a triple threat for the tag belts. And the biggest spot I will never forget is you guys are on the outside, like towards the ramp area, and Blaze, who's not a high flyer, all of a sudden did the dive, off the top rope, and I'm sitting there going, these guys are putting it all out there. So like I said, I commend you guys greatly for what you guys did in those matches.
If you go back and watch that match, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who caught Blaze. So I think so. I remember that very well. But
no, like I said, we have the Immortal stuff. I want to get into one quick thing with Excite, because there was one rivalry that you did have that I want to just kind of get your take on it now, and it's you and Cade Lothbrock.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's how Foxy kind of came into, Edge of Hope, was through that feud, if I remember correctly.
It was, yeah. We did a match where Foxy came over to us. It was kind of like we won her services. I hate saying that because she's an amazing human being and not an object. But we had another match, and she was supposed to go back with him. She chose to stay with us. She enjoyed she loves Edge of Hope's message, and you know what? The signed, sealed, delivered. We've got Foxy, and I can't imagine Edge of Hope without her.
Well, I wanted to ask you, because what was it like working with Cade? I know you guys did have. I remember watching the promos back and forth, and some stuff was said.
Yeah. I feel like he pushed me. Cade comes with everything he has. You can't doubt him on that. He comes with everything he has, so you need to come with everything you have, or you're gonna. It's like running into the Hulk. I mean, if you don't come at him with everything you got, you're gonna hit him and fall down. But he comes so passionate with what he does. So he pulls it out of you too.
No, I believe I totally get that. But now I want to look at Flex Wrestling. Obviously, that's the big thing everybody's looking at now. September 26th. You actually have a match against somebody who fans of Immortal actually kind of know this person, Pat Sawyer.
I do. I am wrestling.
Obviously, you look at you look at you, and you look at Pat, and there's definitely a size difference. Pat is basically
not the same size as Pat. There is. There's a visible size difference. He's tall as hell, and I'm not. I'm usually the smallest guy in the room. So I have to come at him not with power. It's going to be strategy. All respect to Pat. If he gets, he's a strong guy. He's a smart guy. He's very good at what he does. There's a reason he is everywhere right now. Pat is, I think he just did this showdown in PA that was with Kevin Kelly. He's not somebody to be taken lightly, and I'm going to have to come with everything I have to him.
Well, I was going to ask you, obviously, because of the size difference, obviously, like I said, with the size difference there, does your approach change at all?
Absolutely. If it's somebody my size where they're still a big guy, I can grapple with them. I can wrestle with them. Pat, it's not the same. His arms aren't. I'm going to be reaching up here for his arms, so I'm going to have to go somewhere else. I'm going to have to maybe bring him down to my level.
Well, I've always said Pat Sawyer is just a building with legs. I'm just saying.
He is. He's a giant human being, and I've wrestled him before. Usually, I came out on the losing end, but this is, I think why we're doing it again. He's only got one against me, so here's the second one. It's my time.
I get that, but obviously looking at this card, and over the last couple of weeks, we've kind of gradually gone over the card, bits and pieces. Other than your match that you have with Pat, what match are you looking forward to seeing as a fan?
Oh God, can I say everything? Because the whole card is stacked. You got Maddock and Colin Delaney, which, Jesus, that's going to be a great match. You got Mike Skyros and Chael Connors, two guys who I've heard them say it on here before are going to be signed in the next 5 years. They're making waves for themselves. You got Carr versus Rhino, which Sean has wrestled everybody, the who's of wrestling, and I'm surprised he's not signed yet. You got Price Pure Gold and HC Loke. Price is amazing. He is so good at what he does. And then Loke, my trainer, I'm being a little biased here, but one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met, and one of the most talented people I've seen in that ring.
No, and I definitely, like I said, I wish I can be up there for it because I would love to just be there just for the experience. But obviously, unfortunately, kind of can't. But I'm going to figure out a way to at least watch some of the matches at least. Looking at who's a part of this. Obviously, it is a debut show.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you see from this, the group, obviously, including you if you want to add yourself into this, that you can see being a breakout? Obviously, we mentioned Skyros and Chael and all them, but who else can you see as kind of being that breakout star that in the next couple of years we're going to be talking about, okay, these guys are going to be signed soon?
I mean, I hope one day it's me. But, I mean, you got Maddock, who I know, again, I'm being biased. He's my tag partner, but arguably has been putting on some of the best matches of his career, and he should be recognized for that. TJ Epics, amazing. He calls himself the highlight of every night, and that's because he's good at what he does. He goes in there, and there's going to be something that you're going to go, what the hell? I'm trying not to say the other word, sorry. But top to bottom, and the way that they are building this brand for Flex is to focus on growing homegrown talent, to building the next stars that you're going to see coming out of there.
And I've mentioned this, in previous interviews previewing the show. Obviously, there's a lot of wrestling. Obviously, let me put it this way. There's a lot more wrestling down by me in the Jersey, Long Island area than up by, in the upstate New York. Obviously, you have Dynasty, you have Immortal, you have obviously Flex, you have the Buffalo area, you have the Rochester area. Do you think realistically, and you kind of hinted at it before, that because of the fact that Flex is kind of building the homegrown talent, that's going to kind of make them stand out from these other companies, is because of that reason?
I'd like to think so. I mean, every single one of those companies, they do have homegrown talent that they do push, but where Flex, they want the up and coming guys to really shine. They want the next stars, Chael Connors, Mike Skyros's, TJ Epics, to be like the platform, it sounds like, and it's something I can really get behind, and very honored to be a part of.
Well, I mean, you bring that up though. I mean, this, and I said it before. I said that, in previous interviews. This is the debut show. There's only one debut show. What's going through your mind knowing that, okay, you're a part of this debut show for a brand new company in an area? And I mean, I think Maddox actually kind of hinted at it last night. There's really not that much wrestling in this area. So what's kind of going through your mind knowing that, okay, this is the debut, kind of walk us through the mindset, leading into this.
Don't mess up. But, I'm from this area. I was born where the venue is 10, 15 minutes from my house, my parents' house. So I was born in the area. There's not a lot to do. But where you're at with Jersey, let's say New Jersey, for instance, there's wrestling every other day. It's oversaturated in Jersey. Where here, they can build something where it's, oh, that was amazing, I have to come back to the next show, and not do it every week. They're gonna, make it where the fans can bite their teeth into this and get excited about entertainment that's going to be right in their backyard. And the venue is beautiful.
I've seen some of the pictures of it, and a very interesting place to stay, so to speak. It's not your typical VFW hall or anything like that. It looks pretty nice from what I've seen.
Oh, absolutely.
But obviously, like I said, I'm looking forward to this. I know the fans are looking forward to this a lot. Darren, got a couple of last questions for you before we wrap things up here. I actually asked this to Matic last night. I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay.
Dream opponent, but the twist is it's dream opponent as singles and dream opponent as a tag team.
Okay. So singles, obviously, I Jordan Oliver, Channing Decker, Alec Price, those I would be a dream. And then for the tag, I mean, Buster in the Brain, that Alec Price and Jordan, me and Matic, I feel like would be an amazing match. Motor City Machine Guns, who, if they ever came back to the Indies, please sign me up. The Righteous, I know Matic said them. I think that would be a fun match. Realistically, we can have the Hardys now. They're on the Indies, and if that could ever happen, please. So there's so many good teams in the tag team wrestling is thriving right now. And I think that's amazing. But obviously, as a singles competitor too, I would love to get somebody like Jordan Oliver or Alec Price.
It's weird that, being a wrestling fan, and we're sitting here now in 2025 and saying, oh, yeah, we can still take on the Hardys. We can still take on the Dudleys. It's insane. Even as a fan, just to sit there and say, I'm going to say, how weird it is right now as a wrestling fan, how in TNA in October for Bound for Glory, I just want to bring this up quickly, you're having the Dudleys versus the Hardys.
Yes, I saw that.
And then in AEW, you basically have Edge and Christian back together.
Yeah. My childhood.
It's like, just give it time. We'll get one more three-way ladder match from them, and then that,
I don't know if they're quite capable of doing what they did.
You never know.
They're a little broken.
I think so. Dream venue.
Oh God. There's so many. Wrestling, like the 2300 arena, the ECW arena. That's a dream. Madison Square Garden. Like, who doesn't want to wrestle any event at Madison Square Garden? Yeah, I guess those would be the two, top ones.
It's funny. I've actually stepped foot in that 2300 arena a couple of times now, and even as a fan, I still get the chills walking through that building going, this is where ECW basically was born.
Yeah.
In essence. It's insane. Now, you mentioned before, you go to the gym and stuff.
Mhm.
Who is on the Cerian Rahne playlist?
It varies. Right now, I think I've got Sleep Theory and Sleep Token on repeat right now, but my favorite band is A Day to Remember. I like a lot of the heavy stuff. Job for a Cowboy is usually what I'm playing when I'm at the gym. The angry screamy music. So, but I love rock is really where I go.
Wait, so you mean the music that you can play at a volume of 1 and you can still hear them 3 miles away?
Yeah. And not to push our own theme music, but I love A Parkway Drive. They're one of my favorite bands. And We Came as Romans also. All amazing stuff.
No, I absolutely. It's funny. I'm similar. Well, I'm not similar like that, but like for me, it's like it would be Metallica, AC/DC. The stuff that like I was listening before. I was in the car, and Sirius XM just started a all Metallica channel,
and
I was ready to listen to it. And all of a sudden, I was even something simple as Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, and I was in my car, and I was sitting there going, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah.
It's just something
that keeps you going.
It's weird. It's like even like I come at it as I'm not even a wrestler, but there's certain songs that I listen to. I'm like, oh, if I was a wrestler for one day, this would be the song.
I won't lie. When I first got started, I would listen to Spotify and go, that could be a theme song. That could be a theme song. Just kind of in my head trying to figure things out. And
well, for me, I've always said it would be 2 theme songs for me. If I ever had the opportunity to pick for like an actual, it would be Metallica, Enter Sandman. Or if you want to go a little bit more raw, so to speak, and I only found out about this recently, Ozzy Osbourne and Lemmy did Hellraiser.
Yes. Excellent song.
Yeah. You put Hellraiser, yeah, that place could be good. But Sarah, I'm very happy we were able to get this done. Again, I wish you nothing but the best coming up for this match with Pat. Before we let you go, where can the fans connect with you on social media, and what else do you have coming up you'd like to promote? The floor is yours.
So fans can find me at Facebook. It's Cerian Rahne, CERIN RAHNE. Instagram is the only Cerian Rahne, all one word, and I think my Twitter or X, whatever it is now, is the Cerian Rahne. But just Google Cerian Rahne, I come up. That's why I picked the name the way I did.
Well, what else do you have coming up, though? Are there any other bookings you have that you like to promote?
Yes. On the 6th, we actually have, let me get my calendar open. Excite Wrestling is actually coming to Hornell at the YMCA, which is my hometown. So I'm really excited about that. Matic I know he talked about the Ground Zero tag team tournament for Dunn and Marcos, which I'm excited to be a part of. There's some amazing teams in there. That's going to be the 13th and the 14th. And then Flex on the 26th. It's going to be a good few weeks for wrestling the next couple weeks.
I definitely agree. Again, Sarah, I'm glad we were able to get you on, and hopefully we can have you on again.
Absolutely.
When the schedule allows you to.
Yeah. Just link up with me. We'll make this happen again, man.
Absolutely. Guys, again, I'm glad we got Cerian Rahne on here. Guys, coming up next, our next set of interviews, I just want to mention this again, is this coming Tuesday, where we have, continuing the Flex Wrestling, we have Mike Skyros coming on. But before that, we have former AEW Women's Champion, Nyla Rose, coming on the show on this coming Tuesday. So you don't want to miss that. Guys, again, follow Cerian Rahne on all social medias, follow Around the Ropes, and we'll see you guys next time.